Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Tech Trouble Solved. This is episode 1 of Tech Trouble Solved Advanced, and the reason why it's advanced is because I'm going to be showing you guys how to do something really cool. So this involves VirtualBox, and it'll work on both Mac and PC, and involves Linux. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a bootable Linux VirtualBox. And in case you guys aren't aware, a VirtualBox is basically, or a virtual machine. VirtualBox is one of the applications that can do virtual machines, but virtual machines are basically like a computer inside a computer, and what they do is they use software to mimic hardware. Yeah, really cool. And you can do all sorts of operating systems on a VirtualBox. You can do Mac OS, you can do Linux, Windows, from Windows 1.0 to Windows 10. It's really cool. But today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do Linux. And Linux is actually a free operating system, unlike Windows or Mac, because Mac OS only runs on Macs, and Windows costs money. But Linux is free and it can run on pretty much any computer. And so I'm going to be showing you guys how to do a VirtualBox of it. So first off, you're going to need to have VirtualBox downloaded. I already have it downloaded, but all the links so you guys can download it. And you're also going to need an Ubuntu Linux ISO. Now you can do different versions of Linux, so we're going to go to the Linux website. Here's the Linux website. So we got all these versions of Linux, and what's good about Linux is there's so many versions for you to choose from. There are some that look like Windows, some that look like Macs, and it's really cool. So we're just going to select Ubuntu, which is the most popular version. So there are actually flavors, and flavors are like different versions of Ubuntu that like have different things on them. We're going to just select Ubuntu Desktop for the generic one, and we click download it. We click download, but I already have a version downloaded, so we don't have to worry about that. What we're going to do is we're going to go click on VirtualBox. And in order to use the Linux ISO, that's what an ISO is, a virtual disk image. So it's basically like having a disk but without a physical disk. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go. First off, we have to make the VirtualBox. So we're gonna click Add. Or actually, no, we're gonna click New. We're gonna click New. I'm gonna name it Linux, and actually, we're gonna name it Ubuntu. And if you type in, it'll detect it, which is really cool. So it detects it's Ubuntu. For example, if we type in Windows Vista, Dominic pulls Windows Vista, but what we're going to do is we're going to type in Ubuntu. We're just going to type in Ubuntu. You don't have to type in the Linux. Because yeah, it's really cool, it can do that. And there's two versions, there's 32 and there's 64-bit. This is 64-bit, you can tell by this little 64. Or we could look into the get info. So what we're going to do is get everything set up. Continue. So you have to add RAM. So this, now you have to set a good portion of RAM. You can't have something too small, otherwise the virtual machine might not run properly. But you don't want it to be too much, because your real computer might run into problems if you put too much RAM on the VirtualBox. So we're going to bump this up, and it actually has green, orange, and red. So my computer has 8 gigs, so if we bump it up to something like this, then that's going to be way too much. My computer is going to run into lag. I'm going to set it to about 3 gigs. We're going to click continue. Create a virtual hard disk now. VirtualBox disk image. So there's two types. You can do dynamically allocated, or you can do fixed size. So dynamically allocated is where, like, if let's say you have 10 gigs on the drive and you're trying to install something that has more than 10 gigs, it'll expand the disk size. But the problem with that, though, is that it might take up more storage on your actual computer. We're going to click fixed size, so when you run out of storage, you run out of storage, and it doesn't automatically adjust. So we're going to click fixed size, 10 gigs recommended, that's fine. Create. And now it will create our disk, VirtualBox disk image. Alright. So we're gonna go click on settings now. Make sure you have this one selected, Ubuntu, the one you just made. So we're gonna go to storage. So we're gonna click the disk icon right here. Click the disk icon here. Choose a disk file. And you're gonna find the VirtualBox ISO or the Ubuntu ISO. I found the desktop, so I'll just drag it and click open. Now, before we click OK, that'll apply our settings. Before we do, go over to System, and you can change the RAM if you want to, but what we're going to do is, so this is the boot order, so it'll boot first off a floppy disk, then optical, and then a hard drive. We're going to unclick floppy so it boots off the optical disk. We're going to click OK. And so our Ubuntu Linux VirtualBox is ready to be used, so we're going to click Start. Again, make sure this is selected. And now, alright, just make sure that's the right ISO file. And here it goes. Unfortunately, it's really small, but that's okay. What we're going to do, virtual screen run, you click on the little monitor icon, virtual screen 1, and I'm going to scale it to 200%. And that'll make it a bigger size. Okay, so now we are at the install screen. So what we're going to do is, you're going to see this screen. You can either try Ubuntu, and it'll basically run off the CD, or you could install it and then you won't need the CD. So make sure you have your language selected. There's all sorts of languages. I'm gonna click English. Install Ubuntu. If this is a VirtualBox, you can install it. Alright, so your keyboard layout, English US and English US good. I'm just going to do a normal installation. So once we're at this screen, we are going to click Install Now. Okay, so now we are at the time zone. All these different. We're just going to select Los Angeles. That's the time zone. And oh, and look, it even detects the VirtualBox. That's really funny. So for some reason, it detected that was a VirtualBox. Pick a username, Trent. 0. I'm just gonna do my name as my password, Trent. And now it is going to be installing Linux. Okay, so now that the installation is complete, we need to restart the computer. So I'm going to click Restart. Okay, so now what's going to happen is we're going to get this screen after you click enter, because I think it automatically ejects the disk, and you'll get this. Oh wait, no. Well, because last time I did it, I had to restart it or something. Nope, it just boots straight to Ubuntu this time. Nice. So it's booting. Okay, so once it's booted up, you will see the screen. Just click on your username. Type in your password. And it should log you straight into Linux. Okay, so it's booted to the desktop. We're just going to click skip. Next. Do not send information. Done. So now we are on the Linux desktop. So unfortunately it is a little laggy, but it's not as laggy as before, but still. We're going to try loading Firefox, see how it works. I think I need to put more RAM on this thing. Does Firefox want to load? So I don't think Firefox is going to load, but that's okay because at least we installed Linux, and you guys can install Linux too using this tutorial. Hey, what is this? Alright, never mind. We're just going to shut the computer down. So in order to shut it down, we have to click this little arrow in the top right. Power off / logout. We are going to power off the computer. Power off. And now it's going to power off. So that is how you install Ubuntu Linux on a virtual machine. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. And I hope you found this educational, and I hope you learned something from this. And I hope this helped you out if you're trying to do a Linux VM yourself. Bye.